goodness gracious. Hey everybody, welcome to another amazing week of Case Files with Kat
and Ashley.
Oh yeah. Dude. That was like what, the 14th take of us trying to start our show? How are you?
I'm here.
What are you drinking?
Blue
something.
I don't know. I don't remember what it's called.
It's a rum drink?
Yeah.
It's a rum drink.
They insisted that I drink. They would not take no for an answer. There was a lot of peer pressure happening. So I don't know what's in this drink. I don't know if there's poison. I don't know.
No, it's poison free.
Drugs.
It's poison free.
I don't know.
Well, there's alcohol, so that's a drug.
I mean, they were very insistent. So if I'm not here next week, guys, just know I didn't do it myself.
Awesome. Well,
did you say not it?
I said not it. It wasn't me. I didn't do it.
It's good, whatever it is.
So thanks everybody for letting us take I guess I have a drink. I have a drink. Hold on, I have a new one. Oh. I don't remember what it's called. It's from Real Ale Brewing Company. Okay. Which is in Blanco, Texas. All right. This is called Favorable Conditions West Coast IPA.
Nice.
And it's like,
oh, that's cute.
Nice sailing imagery.
It's cute. It's adorable.
Has some water on there. Oh. Doesn't really go with. It could go with my story tonight. It actually could. Anyway, thanks to everybody for allowing us to take a couple of weeks off. Last week for my anniversary, 13 years.
Woo!
To the wizard, bless him. It's flown by, and he's the best for putting up with me.
Aww.
Right? I mean,
he's the best for putting up with us in general.
Well, he is the better half. He is the better half. I had a dream. Oh my God, I had a dream last night when I literally woke up just before 5 a.m. I woke up, and Dream Cat was a bitch. But I woke up and I was like, I'm sorry. Oh, it was not good. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I said out loud, I was just waking up out of this dream. And I was like, I will never find a man who treats me as good as Jason does, as the wizard does. Because it's Ehlers-Danlos Awareness Month, y'all. Hey, zebras, what's up? But, he when my body doesn't work, when I can't move the way I want to move and I'm in pain and it's just those days, he picks up the slack and does all the things and has no, there's no again, he just does it. And he's like, go take care of yourself. Go, just get off your feet. Go do this. Go. He's always paying attention and just, love the guy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then he and the kids were so sweet for Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there listening to true crime with your kids in the car. My kids, they're like emotional damage. Right. Okay. So this is going to be a kind of a long one. So I'm going to get started.
Okay.
All right. But I want to, this episode, trigger warning. It does talk about, childhood sexual abuse. There's mention of that. There's mention of suicide and suicidal ideation. So please take care listening, and we'll offer resources at the end of the episode, but they'll be in the show notes. Okay. So tonight, like I said, tonight's episode's a bit of a doozy. Not gonna lie, it's a bit of a doozy. And before we started recording, I did say there's really no ending to this story because it's still going on. And so I was like, gosh, I feel like it's just going to be us going, well, I think we've talked it all out.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
We're gonna solve it tonight.
There's no solving because there's no mystery. So this is strange. Okay. So. The last story I did was the Instagram cult leader, sex trafficker, right? Kat Torres. But as I was doing research about Kat, I heard about this particular person, and her name is Teal Swan.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of her?
I have not.
So
is that her real name? Teal Swan? I'm just asking.
you know what? Let me get to that part. Hold on. I'm just going to,
sorry.
Because it made me laugh. I actually cut a screenshot because you can't highlight on her website. Believe it or not, Teal Swan is not a made up name. This is on her website. When Teal was born, her parents named her, it went away. Hold on.
Okay. Sorry, I fucked up the whole order of things here.
Oh, God. I cut it off. I don't know. Okay, but she was born Mary Teal Bosworth, but they always just called her Teal. And then she got married. One of her husband's last names was Swan, and she just never changed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was that.
I was just curious.
I was going to give you like a really, and then I was like, it got cut off, so now I can't do that. So, all right. So Teal Swan is different from Cat Torres, right? No sex trafficking. But she is a spiritual guru, and I'm going to do this in air quotes. Like, you can hear my bracelets. Let me take them off. Spiritual guru, cough, cult leader.
Okay.
With some arguably dangerous ideas about mental health. I mean, calling yourself a spiritual guru probably lends itself to that assumption for most of us who are listening to this episode. She claims to be part alien and have I don't know.
All these people.
I know.
All these people that you do that think they're birds and aliens and gods and whatever.
She has claimed lots of things. She has extrasensory abilities, which she uses to heal others' psychological ailments. She communicates with her incredibly large following on YouTube and TikTok. She's huge on TikTok. She's young. She has speaking tours. She has a spiritual retreat. She has a compound in Utah. She did live in Costa Rica on that compound, and now she's back in Utah. She calls herself a spiritual catalyst, but others have called her a suicide catalyst. And here's why. So, go ahead.
She has over 904,000 followers on TikTok and over 12 million likes. That is insane. Go on.
Her videos have had like over 500 million views or some shit. Some crazy ass number. Like I think she actually put it on her website, as a matter of fact.
She looks insane.
Doesn't she give you, if you guys are looking her up, someone said she's giving me like Liv Tyler, what's her name? Liv Tyler, as an elf.
I don't know about that, but she just looks insane.
She's like, I mean, she's classically pretty. You can see her appeal, bright green, blue eyes, long auburn, dark hair, brown hair.
Yeah.
She's very fit. She's got great skin. What is her skin routine?
She's an alien.
She's an alien. And then when she talks, she's got this very monotone, very hypnotic way of talking. And a lot of people say that they like her followers, not like her inner core, but like her followers will just put her videos on, and she's always like in front of some trippy, peaceful, psychedelic kind of looking background. Sometimes it's like a lake, or sometimes it's just like something that looks like tie-dye. Sometimes, just very peaceful, nothing too crazy going on, right? And it's just her talking, and it's she has a very monotone, very calming voice. And I'll talk about the podcast that this came from, but he interviews, a podcast that I listen to, he interviews somebody who says, like, if you kind of zone out listening to her, because she is so hypnotic, that you are absorbing her information. So people who are falling asleep or just kind of have it on while they're working or anything, you're still absorbed, because you do kind of go into a trance, or because it's the way that she speaks. is very calm and very confident, and you'll hear her speak in a little bit. So when I said she has been called the suicide catalyst, here are some things. So she's made some troubling comments about suicide. And at least 4 of her followers have committed suicide shortly after meeting with Teal about it. One in particular is the best known story. So I'll just quickly tell this part of the story. It's about Leslie Wangsgard, who Teal told to either fully commit to life or fully commit to death. And then 2 days later, she was dead. Oh. So is it a case like Michelle Carter, the famous case of the young woman who texted her boyfriend to get back in the truck and kill himself? Is it that overt? No. You know, she wasn't like, do it right now.
Yeah.
But is she setting people up to just have that be the only? So
just based on that, that's really tough, because I mean, I don't feel like she's telling someone to really.
She's also said, and I'll say it later, she's also said suicide is a great reset button, and that it feels good to die. Oh God. So
adding those in makes it way different. But just saying,
like, she has there's
in,
just lots of, she records everything, right? She records like all of her and puts it on her stuff. I think a lot. So in 2018, when one of the podcasts came out, if you had put in "I want to die" into Google, Teal's video of "I want to die, what to do if you're suicidal," like, her videos were showing up. So I tested that. I put that in. I put in I want to die. I want to kill myself. Now what? I put in like all of these things, and she never popped up. What did pop up was, "You are not alone. Call 988." Other videos of people saying, "Just don't do it." You know, like, just very supportive. I never got, I went pages and pages and pages and never saw Teal. She used her SEO. Is that right? Like, she was triggering people, like, the podcaster, his name is Jennings Brown, and he did a podcast named The Catalyst, and it's a 6-part series. Great listen. So, but this was out in 2018 when he was doing this, but he had just gotten out of a relationship. He was dealing with a breakup. He was dealing with not having a job. He was just starting a new job, and he was feeling kind of lonely. And so Teal's face kept popping up in his algorithm, and so he clicked on it, but it popped up, and he went back and searched because he listened to the original song, theme song from MASH, which is called Suicide is MASH theme song. Sorry, I could have. Suicide is Painless by Johnny Mandel. He had just watched that video, and then Teal's stuff started. So she was like, if anything you do is even remotely about this, then I'm going to pop up into your algorithm.
That's some serious marketing. I'll tell you that.
But it's not true now. Like, I went searching, and I think because
Google probably removed it themselves.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And I went into YouTube and I did all that. Same thing.
They probably, if it's come out that she is this person, they've probably blocked her stuff.
Because it's problematic. So this is from someone's paper from the University of Texas at Arlington. Hey, her name is Melissa Yvonne Horton, and she wrote a paper called "Analysis of Suicide Coercion," and she sums it up so well. So she sums up the story and sort of what I'm trying to get at. Like, she put it into words I just didn't have. Okay, so Leslie Wangsgard's death is a case of suspected coerced suicide. It has never been tried, and unlike cases previously analyzed in this project, there are no recordings or records of Leslie that can definitively link her death to the alleged perpetrator, Teal Swan. However, the alleged perpetrator, Teal Swan, has gained notoriety for her language concerning suicide and has had as many as 4 deaths attributed to her teachings in some way. Additionally, In the analysis below, several coercive elements can be clearly identified. Swan frequently posts videos of her teaching, seminars, and other spiritual content on her YouTube channel, including her teachings on death and suicide and her experience with Leslie. This makes the case ideal for linguistic analysis due to the amount of language-based evidence available. So Leslie Wangsgard and her husband John were close followers of spiritual guru Teal Swan. After they met, Swan soon began having one-on-one therapy sessions with Leslie. Now, she puts it in quotes. I'm putting it in quotes because Teal Swan has absolutely zero credentials to be a counselor. She is not licensed to counsel people at all. So, one-on-one therapy sessions with Leslie. Soon after this, Leslie decided to stop taking her antidepressant, Paxil, without psychiatric supervision at Swan's suggestion. During one of those therapy sessions, Leslie recovered suppressed memories of childhood sexual abuse inflicted by her father. On the night of May 19th, and I put that in quotes because all of her followers seem to have suppressed sexual assault stories by their parents.
Yeah.
So on the night of May 19th, 2012, Leslie committed suicide by overdose and died in her bed. Because of Swan's public discourse regarding suicide and death, many people believed that Swan is the reason that Leslie decided to kill herself. Swan has never been tried or implicated in this case. However, Swan has been connected to at least 3 other cases of suicide. Because of this, I believe the language she uses to talk to her followers about death and suicide is appropriate data for identifying elements of suicide coercion. In Leslie's case, we can identify some facts that we consider coercive elements. Firstly, by suggesting that Leslie stop taking antidepressants, Swan was able to mentally debilitate Leslie and increase her level of internal conflict. Leslie had tried before to stop taking her antidepressants without doctor supervision, and according to her husband, John, it had gone very poorly and had resulted in increased suicidal thoughts and mood swings. Secondly, Swan helped Leslie recover suppressed memories of extreme childhood trauma. And there's a lot of controversy around the idea of suppressed or repressed memories. I'll get more into that later. Studies show that it's possible for child sexual abuse survivors to completely forget the incidents of their trauma, sometimes even after remembering it again. However, there's also evidence that recovered memories can be planted, especially if there are psychoactive drugs, hypnosis, or spiritual experiences involved. Furthermore, therapists can plant these fabricated memories without intending to, and most mainstream psychologists believe that most, if not all, instances of repressed memory recovery are actually false memories. No one can prove Swan's intention or actions regarding this. What is important, though, is that we can surmise the effect that the incident had on Leslie. This was another level of mental debilitation as well as motivation for Leslie's isolation. Leslie was unsure which family member she could trust after remembering her trauma, so she distanced herself from almost all of them. Additionally, Swan also had directives for her followers, and Leslie had built a habit of complying with those directives whenever possible. Swan also had an unusual connection with Leslie's husband, John. Swan had told John that they had been married in a past life, and to this day, John will talk about his spiritual attraction to Swan. And this may have been an isolating factor in Leslie's case if this extramarital attraction had caused any emotional strain on their marriage.
I don't think very many child abuse survivors forget what happened to them. I find it for there to be that many is what I mean. Like,
there's so many.
For her to have that many. For all of them to suppress it seems very strange. I
didn't remember my rape for, 6 years, right? I mean, it was 100% like there was just no memory of it. So I get repressed memory. I get that.
Yeah, I'm just to have like everybody so who many crosses, of them because
everybody who crosses your path.
Yeah, because like I don't know, I didn't forget. Like I didn't talk about it, but I didn't forget it. I didn't talk about it because no one believed me.
Yeah,
but like, to have that many people, I don't know. I get that some do, right? Some totally block it out your body when your brain, you have trauma, your brain blocks it out. I just find it so strange that she had so many cases of it.
To have like almost 100%.
And then to tell people to quit taking their antidepressants cold turkey is just so insanely dangerous.
Without
like
a degree of any kind to help watch over her.
Yeah.
And for the husband.
Yeah.
She told John to stop taking his medication, and he did. And so then she told Leslie, if you want to reach your spiritual enlightenment, you have to get off your antidepressants. And so she did. And then she asked her husband the night she killed herself, she was like, will you be okay if you find me dead? And then she died. He didn't check on her for 19 hours after that.
Were they not in the same house?
They were in the same house, but they didn't sleep in the same room. And so he just went about life for 19 hours after his wife says, will you be okay if you find me dead?
Wow.
But he believes to this day that Teal Swan had nothing to do with it. Okay. I mean, it sounds like a shit time, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
For Leslie.
Yeah.
And she probably saw no other way out.
Yeah.
Okay. So man. So that's just, hey, welcome to the Teal Swan episode, y'all. We're just doing the thing. So I have watched documentaries and listened to podcasts multiple times. Not even like thinking about this episode, I've watched each documentary twice. I've listened to the podcast twice, all of them, every single one. It's like a 6-part series. Because I was trying to wrap my mind around how to talk to you about it, because I feel like because she is still so popular.
Yeah.
That what am I missing here? And I kind of started to be like, okay, man, she's at large. She's doing her thing. So anyway, I'm already like going off on my tangent here. So if this episode gets you at all interested in learning more about her, I suggest listening to the podcast series called The Gateway. It's by Jennings Brown. He was with Gizmodo at the time. He's done a couple of great podcasts about cults, and then watching The Deep End, and that's on Amazon Prime. And you'll hear a little bit about it. I'm totally going to give spoilers about it. But even if you looked her up, the spoilers would all be there. Like, this is nothing new. The Gateway came out in 2018 and The Deep End came out in 22. The Gateway, he did it like over a year of investigating her, and she let him in. She was very open about having him come in, and, he went to the retreat in Costa Rica and did her signature treatments and the whole thing. Like, he went through it. And then, The Deep End, they followed her for 3 years in her house, talking to her people, like amazing access.
Yeah.
Like they were just in the room.
She just sounds delusional.
All right. So if you've ever scrolled through spiritual TikTok or YouTube, I'm sure you've probably stumbled across her. There's one video that I remember being shared about her take on empaths, like why people who are empaths have such a hard time. And it's because of the trauma that we dealt with, and that we walk into a room. And like, I remember someone sharing like, yes, this is so true. And I'm like, ugh, I hate that I watched that years ago. Like we are like, the reason we walk into a room and it's overwhelming is because we are on guard waiting for something bad, we're like for protection. Anyway, massive following, markets herself as a trauma healer. She has extrasensory powers. She can see how your food is digesting. She can see your blood running through your body.
She has hundreds of TikTok videos, and all the topics just seem like super dangerous if you're already,
but the thing is that she's not wrong in every single one of them. And that's the dangerous part. Yeah. She sandwiches in the bullshit. She sandwiches in the crazy shit with the like, well, that's right. Or, she's regurgitating, things from psychiatric journals, or she's regurgitating things like there's nothing new. But she's just putting her spin on it. Yeah. She thinks she's a medical savant. She thinks that she could have been a surgeon. But it's just like she says she has akashic knowledge. Like anything that's ever been thought or said in the universe, she has that information. She knows that knowledge. She knows all knowledge. She's all knowing, except she can't speak other languages.
She gives a lot of relationship advice on her.
She's been married at least 4 times. So miss me with that. Miss me with that. And we'll talk about another relationship.
I'm sorry. You were talking about her TikTok and I was scrolling through and it's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So she was born Mary Teal Bosworth, June 16th, 1984.
Wow. I kind of expected her to be a little bit older, honestly.
Yeah. That's why she's on TikTok, and she was early on the YouTube. She was early on the YouTube thing, and she was making a video a week back in the early days. She some of her videos are like old and not good quality, and so she was back there. So she was growing up she grew up in Logan, Utah. She says in the deep end that she, quote, scared her mother to death from the age of 5 with what she now refers to on her website as her extrasensory abilities, including being able to read minds and channel the departed. She saw people's auras. She could see dead people. She, that whole thing. She was ostracized and bullied as a child. She grew up in Utah. They weren't Mormon. She was, doctors had diagnosed her with everything from schizophrenia to bipolar disorder. And Teal says she first attempted suicide at 17. So she comes at this suicidal ideation with a sense of like, I'm a survivor and I want to help you survive. But
sure. So
this is from the Gateway podcast. Teal's mom, Bobby Bosworth, remembers those early signs of her daughter's hypersensitivity. Bobby and Gordon struggled to make the sense of their daughter's issues. They took her to several psychiatrists, but no therapies or pills seemed to help. So her mom decided to try Eastern medicine. So Bobby took Teal to a Qigong healing center nestled in the mountains outside of Beijing. The center treats patients who have cancer, paralysis, and various illnesses. And she wrote in. And she's like, look, I know that this isn't technically a terminal illness like cancer, but my daughter's already tried to commit suicide. Like I don't know how to keep her alive, basically.
Can I just say props to the mom for going to such extreme lengths to try to help her child? Because you don't hear that very often in our stories.
Yeah. So she's like, it's not terminal, but she's going to die if I'm trying everything. So they're like, okay, that's a terminal illness. Step right up. Come on in. So they accepted him. In 2003, Swan claimed repressed memories of horrific abuse at the hands of a satanic cult, even saying she was sewn into a corpse by a Mormon cult as a child.
It's pretty bold claims.
So physically, that's impossible.
Yeah.
You can't be sewn into a corpse. You just can't. That's not physically possible. Did they de-skin it, like, and just take the skin off and wrap you in it, or like you just can't?
I don't know. I'm not trying to imagine it. I don't want to see it in my sleep.
Like, were you a tiny baby and then they just put you in the cavity of the rib cage or what? Like what?
Yeah,
it just doesn't make any sense. Anyway. And that she later recovered these memories during therapy with Barbara Snow, and I'll get to her in a second. So remember that name. So Snow had encouraged her to go to the police in 2005, but that investigation quietly was stalled when authorities realized, wait a minute, this therapist has done this before. More on that in a second. So when she was 19, she moved in with Blake Dyer, and he's introduced in The Deep End as her head of operations. In this show, she credits him with making her feel safe for the first time in her life and teaching her how to trust. And people have like literally gone up to him and thanked him for saving her. And that whole relationship, holy shit. Okay, so more on that later, because that's for sure like my favorite part of this story. Okay. Then in 2016, she wrote a book called The Completion Process. She wrote of enduring 13 years of torture.
But she forgot all 13 years?
By someone she says sexually abused her, held her captive in a pit, drugged her with ketamine, and threatened her family's life. She tells people that mental illness, especially depression, often comes from repressed memories of childhood abuse. I would not want to see her.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's completely wrong, but I do feel like she is just...
Here's the thing. She makes blanket fucking statements about mental health.
Yeah.
Your anxiety is not the same as my anxiety.
Yeah.
Your depression is not my depression.
Yeah.
You can't just go, here is what it is.
Yeah.
It is not the same. It is it is not a cookie cutter thing. And if you treat it like that, then it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
Because if you're coming at it with this fucking bravado, this like fucking confidence that you are this all-knowing bullshit artist.
Yeah.
Who can see that you had wheat today because your body is inflaming on the inside.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And she only has to be right a handful of times for you to be like, maybe she is psychic.
Yeah.
I did have wheat today. Everyone has fucking wheat. Unless you don't eat wheat. It's so hard to avoid wheat.
Yeah.
Right? It's in everything. Gluten is in so many things. So, I mean, it's like, that could be so many people. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're having a hard day today. I don't know. Yes. You can see it on my face, right? Anyway, if you say you had a normal childhood, Swan will tell you it's because your brain is hiding the memories. Memories you can recover, and she can help you recover those memories. No, but my parents didn't do that. Yes, they did. You just don't remember. Nope. We had a good relationship. Your parents don't love you. Your mom actually does not love you.
Wow.
And she says it with that confidence, and she'll say it to you in front of a room full of people. And you're just like, oh shit. So people are isolating. People are cutting off their family. People are moving out. People are getting divorced. People are, this is what she's doing. Yeah. The ramifications of what she's doing is impacting so many people, not just the people who are like following her, but their entire families. And then when they die, she's not charged with anything. But when you've isolated them and and they can't afford to go to your retreats and they can't afford to be a part of your inner circle, then what? They're like left in the cold. And that's the shit that pisses me off.
Yeah.
See,
and you've given them these false memories.
Yep.
On top of it.
So they're isolated. Oh my God, my dad did what? My mom did what? My mom doesn't love me.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. Okay. So now the belief that trauma can be buried in the subconscious and unlocked later through therapy, that has been, for the most part, debunked. Leading psychologists and neuroscientists have been clear. While trauma can affect memory, this idea of recovering abuse through hypnosis or visualization has really no scientific basis. And moreover, it's really dangerous. Because here's the thing, the exact pseudoscience that drove the satanic panic of the 80s and 90s, we've covered that here and there throughout our time having this podcast. It's based entirely on memories recovered by therapists using leading questions, hypnosis, and suggestion. And it tore families apart. It put innocent people in prison. It destroyed lives. And guess who was right in the thick of it? Dr. Barbara Snow, the same woman who treated Teal Swan. Swan claims she repressed memories of horrific abuse at the hands of a satanic cult, even saying she was sewn into a corpse, right? And she later recovered these memories. And that's when the authorities were like, wait, no, we're not going to. No, we know her. We know this lady. So Barbara Snow was the central figure in a series of child abuse cases in Utah in the mid-'80s, cases that mirror Swan's almost exactly. Snow's methods relied heavily on suggestion, and she would often pressure children into disclosing abuse they initially denied. She admitted this under oath. In one of the earliest cases, a mother took her kids to Snow because they were talking too freely about sex. After interviewing them, Snow decided they had been abused, not just by one person, but by an entire network. Snow interviewed more kids with the same babysitter, and suddenly there's a full-blown sex ring involving parents, a Mormon bishop, and his wife. No physical evidence ever backed up any of this, but kids were removed from homes, reputations were destroyed, and the only person prosecuted was Alan Hadfield, someone who many believe was actually really innocent. Even Utah's own deputy county attorney was concerned after watching one of Snow's interviews, saying she was basically coercing confessions out of the kids. Gross. By the late 80s, Barbara Snow had accused 40 adults, almost all of them Mormons, of participating in satanic abuse. One girl testified that Snow wouldn't let her leave the interview unless she said she had been ritually abused. Others talked about pentagrams and sex parties and candles and costumes and human excrement. Gross. A Utah Supreme Court later cited an affidavit comparing 4 of Snow's cases, noting eerie and frankly unbelievable patterns. Sex rings of up to 20 families, satanic rituals, children being bathed in feces, identical drawings, and bizarre costume use. The only thread tying them together was Barbara Snow.
Wow.
But it didn't stop there. Another man, Arden Brett Bullock, was convicted of abuse after his ex-wife took their children to Snow during a custody battle. Snow told Bullock part of an entire neighborhood, told police Bullock was part of an entire neighborhood abuse network. This woman was nuts.
How would she even know that, though?
No physical evidence. In a later appeal, judges shredded Snow's credibility. They noted that she admitted to not recording interviews, not taking notes, and relying solely on her own integrity as evidence. She even added false dates to back up her therapy notes. And then in 2006, just after Teal Swan investigation fizzled out, something truly unhinged happened. Snow had been providing therapy to 2 of her family members, her sister-in-law and niece. You're not supposed to give therapy to your family. Under hypnosis, they recovered memories that their husband and father, who was allegedly Snow's own brother, had abused them. And what did Snow do? She showed up at their home with a baseball bat.
The therapist, Snow, showed up to her own brother's house after she convinced these members that something happened that didn't happen.
According to the complaint, Snow demanded to know where her brother was. And when she found out he wasn't home, she went into his office and started smashing everything. Computers, printers, family photos. And the women who tried to stop her, she hit them with the bat.
I wonder what he did originally to piss her off to this level. You know what I mean?
Right. That's not speculation. There were photos, a police report, multiple witnesses, and despite this violence, Snow managed to get her record expunged within the year. She even continued practicing. The Utah Licensing Board did suspend her license, sort of. It was immediately stayed, meaning she didn't have to stop seeing clients. She just had to work under supervision and take an ethics course, but, you know. So let me just say this again. A therapist who admitted to pressuring clients, inventing memories, hitting her own family members with the bat still holds a clean license. So
nice.
I know, right? And Teal Swan, well, she learned those methods directly from Barbara Snow. The recovered memories, the satanic cult narratives, the idea that healing requires reliving trauma you didn't even know you had. This is all Barbara Snow. Teal Swan's empire, with its retreats and videos and suicide discussions and cult-like influence, it's built on the same foundation that gave us a satanic panic. Every single one of those followers has some repressed childhood sexual abuse hiding underneath all their drama. Every single one of them. And this time, it's just dressed up in crystals and cosmic awakening and boop, boop, bop, bop. So yeah, this one is making my blood boil for sure. Because vulnerable people being fed junk science and being re-traumatized and alienating themselves from families who love them, in most cases, encouraged to cut off people. And it's all based on false memories, lies. And that's just horrible. So in 2011, Swan released her first book, The Sculptor in the Sky, and began holding public events. And so she had been living with her friend, boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, now business manager. And I'm telling you. So, and so she was holding public events. They were getting recorded. And so that's all on her YouTube. So Swan's teachings often involve guiding participants to envision their own deaths, occasionally by suicide. And the idea, and honestly, like I don't want to say like I can see why she does it, but I can kind of see like how that would be beneficial, because some people are like, yeah, man, I don't want to die. Like that sucked. Like to go through the funeral, to like see it from like a bird's eye perspective.
But if they are in fact suicidal and you know they're suicidal, you're like, hey, let's pretend you're dead already. Like, I feel like this is so like everything she's doing to me
100%
sounds so freaking dangerous.
How are you going to kill yourself? How are you going to kill yourself?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, maybe don't have them in, but she swears up and down. She suggests that viewing suicide as a, quote, safety net can help individuals focus on improving their current situation.
How? How does that help?
She has said that suicide is like a reset button, that it can feel good to die, because she's experienced it herself many times. The danger here is real. I cannot say that enough.
Wait, she claimed that she had committed suicide several times?
She has died many times.
Okay.
Do you see the danger now? Like
I saw the danger while back.
I've died a lot. It feels good. I get it.
It's great. It's just like a retreat.
Yeah, but it's just like a retreat. I mean, yep, everything starts over. No more problems.
So,
And this isn't fringe YouTube content anymore, right?
Yeah.
It's a system of belief that tells vulnerable people their minds are lying to them and that their suffering must mean they are horrifically abused, even if they don't remember it. If they don't remember it, well, just proves that it's repressed. It's not that it didn't happen. It's never that it didn't happen. Oh, no. Oops. Oh, Lord. Darn it. Look what happened.
I mean,
I just hit the button and it took me back to the beginning.
Yeah. It's, to me, taking advantage of people that are so vulnerable and already in a really bad mental space is some of the worst kinds of people to me, because like these people are already on the verge of like a mental collapse and you are just making it so much worse.
It's circular reasoning at its worst, and it opens the door for therapists, coaches, and healers to implant these ideas that can really destroy people, destroy families, right? And just like during the satanic panic. And so she's not doing anything new. It's just repeating a fucking playbook that should have been thrown out years ago. I don't know. And another reminder, if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please reach out to a licensed professional, not Teal Swan. Healing is possible, but not by manipulation or myth or lies. Right?
Or by an alien.
Or by an alien who can see your blood pumping through your body and sees that you're digesting lunch. I don't know. So,
I'm not laughing at this. Just how ridiculous, like, she makes herself sound, right? Like, it's just, insane.
But Ashley,
the fact that she believes it.
She believes it. And if you hear her speak, if you're like, she's so good at gaslighting. She is so good at it.
Yeah.
And okay, so
I'm almost afraid to watch her TikTok videos, but I'm going to for research purposes.
Watch it. Listen to the Gateway. It's a good listen. And I've heard him interviewed on so many other podcasts now. And one of the podcasts, it's called A Little Bit Culty, and it's by members of Nexium.
Oh,
the people who did the vow.
Yeah.
Her and her husband.
Okay.
And they're interviewing him, and they're like, we were so triggered by your first interview with her because she gaslit you. He was like, yeah, my producers were like, we can't even use this because she got into your head, man. Like, we almost can't even put most of this in there because, like,
yeah,
because he was like trying to hold his own. He was trying to be strong, right? He's like, yeah, but you don't have any credentials, right? She was like, Jennings, what are you good at? He's like, writing. Well, how do I know that you're a good writer? And he was like, well, I mean, if I have a shitty blog post, I guess you could tell me it's a shitty blog post, but that doesn't mean someone's going to go out and kill themselves, right? Like, two really different things. But she's just kind of like, I'm good at what I do, right? I know everything. I mean, just bleh, bleh. Anyway, so the Gateway podcast, the Deep End docuseries, it's on Amazon Prime. Sounds like a cult podcast, The Cult of Teal Swan. That's a great episode, a little bit culty podcast, bigger than the Pope. She says she wants to be bigger than the Pope. That's her goal. That's cool. Now, these were all great. All of them, every single one of them, but they will take time. So if you can watch the Deep End, listen to the Gateway. I'm going to give some spoilers here, but again, like, if you do any research at all, it's all going to come out in there. So anyway, the filmmakers of the Deep End, they actually got to get super close to her for 3 years to make this series. And I think Teal thought that it would shed the right kind of light on her. Like, if I let people have access, then they will see the good that I'm doing. They will get to see the real Teal Swan. They will get to see all these people that I'm helping, right? But it just really didn't shed a good light on her. So in the series, she actually hires a private investigator. She hires a private investigator to help her dispel the rumors or the myths that she's a suicide catalyst and that she's a cult leader, because there was this Vice News article called Yes, There Are Women-Led Cults. And she was featured on that. And that really chapped her hide. And so she hires this investigator. Her and her team get this investigator. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go out there. I am you're paying me to do this, but I am not connected to you in any way. So I'm going to come to you with the truth. And they gave her access to stuff and to people. And she was able to call her inner circle. She'd interviewed past members of the inner circle, past followers of Teal. She really, like, she got in there, right? And so she was trying to find out, are you a suicide catalyst and are you a cult? And when you can just imagine how those questions were answered. So again, I'm gonna, because I for myself wanted to do this. Here is the definition of a cult. Thank you, AI. There's that kitty I always told you need to adopt. That's Lola. She's pregnant. She's little like Ella.
Yeah.
Little like Ella. Okay, here's the definition of a cult. A cult is a group of people often led by a charismatic individual who share a belief system and often exhibit excessive devotion to the leader or a specific ideology. Cults typically demand strong loyalty and discourage questioning discourage questioning the leader or group practices, sometimes isolating members from outside influences. While not inherently malicious, cults can manipulate members and prioritize group goals over individual well-being. Walks like a duck.
Yeah.
Right? So I had to look that up because I was like, well, okay, let's see if this is the kind of thing that she's checking off her list, right? Yeah. So it really follows. It follows the group, but it really kind of starts to zero in on her relationship, like I said, with her business partner, ex-boyfriend Blake. Now Blake Dyer, as you may remember, was the person who saved Teal. It was in his house. It was his house that she went to in her darkest hours, and who really got her back on her feet. What? Did you have a? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand.
My
so he was like her first follower, right? Yeah. And so he started to film her and make these weekly, now daily videos. He's not with her anymore. But we learned through watching that even though they broke up, they continued to live together, even after she got married several times to other people.
She was living with him while married to other people?
Blake still continued to live with her.
The other husbands weren't upset by this?
He became like a family member. I mean, there's all kinds of shit wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
I need to hear the audience going, yes, that's wrong.
Yeah.
like no, right?
It's very strange.
He had a relationship with her son, Winter, almost like a second dad would. He helped raise her son. And it's like, maybe if you're best friends, but in the same house, like that's just a level of control. Like I don't want you, but I don't want you to want anybody else.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's that, I want to keep tabs on you and maybe flirt with you a little bit and maybe give you hope that all these men are just temporary and,
Yeah.
To me, it's fucked up. Anyway, and then we're introduced to Juliana, Blake's girlfriend from Germany. And so we meet her as she's moving to she's in Germany and we meet her and then she's moving, into the compound to join this like core group, the inner circle. And right away you can see friction, like right away. Teal's like, you could tell her walls are up. Like, here's this woman who's coming in and what, you can't just bring this other girl. Yeah. Like she may not jive with us. And she had been to the retreats before. That's how she met Blake, at a retreat. Like, so she was a follower of Teal. And then that's how they met. And then she's moving. So she was like all about it. She was all about it.
Yeah.
She was all about the life. And she is a doll. She is so cute. And they are like the cutest couple together. They just look so airy and cute. Anyway, she's super sweet. She arrives. It's kind of a big deal. And Teal's just not having it. But then Blake tells Teal of his intentions of asking her to marry him. And here's the conversation.
Blake, I need to know where you guys are and everything. I need to know what you're thinking. I don't feel like we're on the same page. Obviously, we haven't spent enough time together.
I know, it's been weeks. And she's only been here for weeks. It's 1 month yesterday. I'm thinking of asking for her to marry me in 2 weeks.
Okay, well, thank you for telling me. What are you thinking?
Well, I don't know. I mean, just...
What, do you think she's on the same page? Have you guys talked about this?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, come on, what have you guys said? Like...
We've just been, just planning stuff. Yeah.
2-week proposal leaves you zero room for rings, Blake. What are you doing?
No, I'll get whatever ring.
Do you want help with that?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about the ending of the saga of the romantic feelings towards me?
Ending of that saga?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still think you're sexy as hell. Yeah.
Thank you. She doesn't react when you touch me. So.
Well,
I've been watching her.
She doesn't.
Has she said anything?
Well, there has been no conversation about my romantic feelings towards you.
Good, there shouldn't be. She doesn't react. I've been watching her.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. You know.
I love this.
I know. Me too.
She sounds super compatible, Blake.
Yeah. Wow. think I'm done with commitment.
Good, Blake.
There's so much subtext and just like tension in that scene, right?
Her facial expressions alone. Oh my!
She's like googly eyeing him, right? Just like, and she's not
and
like
the way
that
they
hugged.
Oh my God!
And then you like right after this, there's like silence, and they're showing him like touching, like caressing her ankle like this.
So when they hugged, guys, like they were laying down on top of each other
on a bed. And she's all like giggly eyed and like like, oh Blake, oh blah 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 blah. Like there's so much tension in that scene. I just can't even stand it.
Well, and the whole like, how are you gonna get a ring in 2 weeks or whatever? Like just so condescending.
She's literally flirting with him, and this is the like when I first watched it, I was like, that is manipulation and control right there, because she doesn't act like that with anybody else, and he's touching her ankles, and she's gazing at him with those hypnotic eyes, and she's like, I think to me like that's triggering, because like, are you really glad? No. Because we're watching you watch them, and we can see your unhappiness. We can see you watching them from the second story, looking down on them, and the disdain on your face.
It's uncomfortable. She's like, I've been watching her, and she doesn't react
when you touch me, or when I, like, why? You're like, she's just like kind of like egging her on, almost like, ooh, what? Look, he's touching me. He's touching me. Like, that's so...
Yeah.
Dude, you've had many chances at love, even with this guy, and you threw him away. So let him have it. Not like, not for me, but no one else can have you.
Like, if people watch that, I think they would definitely understand the context of what she's doing.
Yeah, because
because it's clear what she's doing when you can see her doing it.
She's using her history with him to keep him tied to her. A little flirting here and there. So does she know about your romantic feelings towards me? Oh, I still think you're sexy as hell. And she's like, thank you. Like she, why do you need that? That's inappropriate now.
Yeah. And she's married at this time, right? Like
no, at this time she's not. No, that second, third husband is already gone. She's had several at this point.
Oh, okay.
So this doesn't end well, as anyone watching the show can tell right away. And the investigator learns a bit more, and she can sense, I think, the tension and the hesitancy coming from Blake and his fiance. So she asks him to clarify some things, and especially when it comes to trying to decide if this is a cult or not. And so this inner circle member, Jared, who met Teal in 2012, makes some interesting points.
I have these various checklists that I'm using to try to figure out the whole accusation of cult behavior.
Sorry, his name is Jared. He is a former inner circle member. Okay, sorry.
2 sets of ethics in a cult, one for the leadership and one for the followers.
I feel like the inner circle is very cultish. I feel like the outer circle is very self-help.
Right.
Because I wanted to be healed so much, I let myself be had by her. I mean, this tattoo is one that she recommended I get because I was lying to her. She said, she could read my thoughts, and I was lying to her.
Wow.
That's when I began to question my childhood, my family. You know, I thought my grandparents sexually abused me, my parents. Because you would go and just create all these stories, and then you start to freak out. Like, if that really happened, if this is my mind showing me this, and all these things, it just started getting worse and worse.
Teal made me question all of my childhood experiences and everything that I had gone through, and just, made me cut ties with family and think this and accuse my dad of sexual abuse, awful stuff. I told my ex-wife I wasn't gonna pay child support, and she thought it's because I didn't have the money. But I was literally not paying that money because I was giving it all to Teal.
She's mentioned and said this so many times when I was living there. We have to be willing to do whatever it takes for this cause. This cause is more important than our own lives.
Oh. When you have the mindset of this is someone who's got the most important work in the world, who's been through the most terrible torture in all of humanity, when you have that mindset, anything she does is like outweighed. Like it's either like her mission's too important or her pain's too great. Anything else is like off the limit. Like she can do whatever she wants.
And I mean, the fact that she even has an inner circle, you know, I mean, I know that people have like their close confidants, but there's.
But what I find interesting is that she even now has convinced them in their own minds to take the blame. Like he said, it was my fault for allowing to be manipulated by her or whatever. Like that's
a good point.
Like even after knowing what she's actually been doing, he still blames himself for letting it happen.
Oh shit, that's a good point.
I'm just saying, like, it shows just how manipulative she really truly is.
The thing is like, it's not just hurting the people who are doing the isolating, but what about the people who do have trauma?
Yeah.
That's been repressed, you know, you know, maybe it's, you know, that's coming out, and then are they to be believed? And, you know, it kills me. It kills me. Obviously he's like, my entire family sexually abused me. Oh my God. Like,
yeah.
That just makes me really, really sad for him. The inner circle is at her beck and call. And I'll get to that here in just a second. And when you're ready to leave, she'll rip you to shreds. And you can leave, you know, she'll rip you to shreds. And you're already not feeling strong. Like this guy was already not feeling strong. His name's Jared. So here's Jared again, talking to the investigator, still in this interview. And, he talks about the question that was posed to him was, are people allowed to leave? Right? Like, can people leave?
Were you paid anything for your services? Were you salaried?
I mean, I was given room and board.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Have you ever heard of anybody choosing to no longer participate, being ostracized in any way?
I mean, like, my exit wasn't very nice. The moment the TV camera would go off, the moment she would go behind closed door at a conference, any of that, it just unleashed. The last thing she told me as I'm like leaving and everyone's like ganged up on me, she said, if I were you, I would just go kill myself. Because there's no hope for you.
Well, whoa, that's a lot.
Oh, it gets a lot more interesting, Molly.
I wanted this so badly. I was so washed. And like when I say I was washed, she like would constantly ask us like you're gonna leave me, Jared. You're gonna give up on all this. I'm like, no, I'm not. No, I won't. I'll do anything. It's like, what are you willing to do for this cause? And I told her I'd be willing to kill someone and bury them in the backyard.
The concern on the investigator's face, she's like taken back. You can see her reaction to him saying that and almost trying to not cry because she's just like...
You can hear it in her voice.
Her eyes get real big and she looks up and you can just see like her breath is just taken away. And that happens several times in the episode, in the series. Okay. So, this is the last clip, but, one of the things that she is tasked with is, you know, is this a cult? Okay. And, she's given a document.
And then I was given a document that I was shocked that they were shared with me.
Teal shared this.
Which is called the non-negotiables. And this is a list of the things that people have to agree to if they're going to be part of this inner circle. And it does not read well. Blake!
Hello.
Hey, thanks for calling. Do you got a minute? I wanted to follow up with you.
Sure, yeah.
Good. I'm not sure if you're aware, but Matthias shared with me the document called the non-negotiables. And
oh, yeah?
Can you answer some questions about that?
I don't know. I don't have them in front of me, but I haven't read them in a while.
Okay. Well, it's you can't put your own family first. The Teal has to come first. If she wants you there, she gets you. The priority of the entire community is whatever's in the best interests of Teal. Everything else is second to that. You can't have personal boundaries that have in any way an effect on Teal. So here's how this one's written. You will now be in the world of fame. This makes relationships very, very complicated and often painful. Your associations are, in fact, your potential biggest liability. Anyone you introduce to community could turn on Teal, blackmail her, rip the community apart, put extra pressure on Teal or other members of the community. When fame and money is involved, people simply cannot be trusted. Your life is not going to even remotely resemble normal.
Uh-huh.
If you want to have a normal life, do not choose to be part of the inner circle. And it goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have any issues or feelings about the non-negotiables?
I mean, I was fine with stuff, pretty much. Teal always refers it to, like, joining the military or something. What did you think when you first read all that?
That most of it is illegal. That was my first reaction. Part of my job here is to try to figure out if this is a cult or not. And then I get this document and I have a checklist that I'm going through saying, yep, cult. I mean, it's all on the list of things that I'm having to use to define what a cult is. And I know this doesn't apply to the outer circles of participants, but there's enough people on this list that this is supposed to apply to that it's put me in an uncomfortable position.
Right. There's like some truth in it, and I see how it sounds. You always have Teal there going like, do you want this? You know, are you in alignment with it? Tell me, be honest. And she is like incredibly empathetic. And so she's always checking with people whether it's working with them or not.
And do you honestly, Blake, feel that it would be comfortable to say, I'm not in alignment with this? Because to say that would be to be kicked out, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not a cult.
It's not a cult. But it's not a cult. So, like I said, this episode has no ending. There's no ending to this. This woman is still practicing her stuff. You know, you can buy her tchotchkes. She sells these energy paintings for an exorbitant amount of money, saying they're supposed to heal you, but they don't. And, you know, she sells books. And you could pay $5,000 to go to her training. You can pay, you can do all these things and go through all, reliving trauma. And I don't want to discount alternative medicines. I don't want to discount different ways of healing and different ways of like sometimes the earth gives us things that heal us better. Hello, cannabis. than a prescription medication. You know, a prescription medication may not take away my pain as well as THC does, right? And so for some people, that is Mother Earth giving us that. You know, there's stuff that like all natural, yay, great. There's some stuff, but when it comes, but I will die on the hill that if someone is in trauma, they should be talking to a mental health professional. And she says, basically, she discounts the 988 suicide hotline. She says, you're not going to get any help from them. And I take so much, I have such a big issue with that. If you like, look, if you don't want people to discount you, do not discount what actually could work. And people may have issues with 988. Maybe they need more funding. They should not have their funding cut. But if it is a lifeline for people, and if you are poo-pooing that just so that you can get people to come to you, fuck you.
Well, for me, anyone that tells another person to go kill themselves is automatically a fuck you for me, because like I think that is one of the most horrible things, kidding around or not. Because you don't know what someone else is going through mentally, and it could just take one person just saying that to you. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that she tells people that when they don't want to be part of her inner circle anymore is just upsetting.
And the most upsetting, the scene, I just even thinking about it gives me the EBGBs. There's a scene at the end of episode 4. It's a 4-part series where she attacks Blake's fiance.
Basically, like
just verbally in her very Teal way. And she's smirking at her going, you know, you're smirking at me right now. Meanwhile, her face is like this. Huh? Like, I'm not smirking. Do you know that you have a smirk on your face right now? And it's obviously your fucking face, right? Like she's projecting 100%. You think I'm a narcissist? You think I'm controlling? You think I don't have boundaries? You think I'm a cult leader? You think this? And she's writing all these things down. And so then she goes, I want to hear what everyone else thinks you think of me. And then everyone else goes around the circle and just regurgitates like the worst shit. So Blake gets up and he joins his fiance. The next scene is they're packing up and they leave.
Good for him.
And so they left. And they go off to Germany together. They get a little apartment. And then they go and visit. Because just before that, Teal was like, "You're never going to be able to go visit your family again. Because your job is here now." And she's like, "I would like to find a way to visit my friends and family in Germany." And I'm like, "You can't."
Good for Blake, though, being as much as under her control as he was to like take his fiance's side.
It is so sad. Yeah. I mean, like that's why like it's my favorite part of the story, because you're seeing him be free of her.
Yeah.
But you know that was hard, because he is obviously an amazing person, human, caring individual.
Yeah.
And he finally found somebody who sees that as well and wants to be with him. And he's like, because as all of this attack is happening, he just looks so uncomfortable. And everybody went, and she's sitting all by herself in this circle and she's holding her own. But you know, her little heart is probably just pounding out of her chest. And finally, he just gets up and he goes and he sits next to her, and they're not touching or anything, but they look so uncomfortable. And then they left, and good for them. Teal is still at large. She's a polarizing figure. I know if people go and listen to her, they'll be like, I mean, she's not wrong. But what I mean is she's sandwiching the not wrong shit with the bullshit.
Yeah.
And then it's too late. Once you start going, she's great. And the guy, Jennings Brown, so he started dating somebody when after The Catalyst comes out, and then they broke up. She is a follower of Teal Swan now. What? After he does this whole podcast, what? Because she's captivating. She's...
Especially when you get it in 3-minute clips on TikTok, or 10 minutes or less clips on TikTok.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But who she is in those little tiny minutes, and then who she is with the cameras off and who she is, right? It's like those are different people. But the fact that what Teal wants takes precedent over what you want forever and ever.
Yeah.
That's what's the Scientology, the Sea Org, right?
Yeah.
That's some Sea Org shit. You never aren't working for the Sea Org, right?
Yeah.
You have to be at her beck and call. She wants you, you have to be there. She says in here, she says, I don't believe in work-life balance. There is no such thing. And she told the investigator that, and she was like, well, that would be a cult, right? Like that's
yeah, I mean,
right?
just that one document alone with the requirements to be in the inner circle. The fact that you call it the inner circle.
The non-negotiables.
Yeah, there we go.
So then what happens at the end? They're like, we need a new non-negotiables. We need to add more rules to the non-negotiables. And then when Blake leaves, she's like, I can't even figure out what I did wrong. What did I do? How could I have made him love me more? How could I have made him stay? How could I have made him want to do this mission more? Like, she has no fucking self-awareness at all.
Wow.
And you're just sitting there going, girlfriend, first of all, let's talk about how unhealthy you are in relationships with men. You're using your sex to get what you want. And okay.
Yeah.
But then you complain when men think you're sexy. You know, it's like, I can't with her. She makes me so mad on so many different levels because of her manipulation, of vulnerable people, and that she's telling people to go kill themselves because they're like, you know what? I don't want to be a part of this anymore. And then you're just a loser. You're out, and everybody has to make you feel out.
Yeah.
Like, that's a cult.
Yeah. So her whole teaching is just that. I mean, I guess I don't, like, you know, most cults have one focus. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So she's just kind of all over the place, right? Like, don't kill yourself. Like, if you're...
Don't kill yourself. Buy crypto.
Don't take your antidepressants. Like, you got to reach a spiritual level, right?
No vaccines. There's some QAnon stuff in there. She's gone, you know, she's all over the place. She's all over the place.
I think that's another thing that makes it less to outsiders, right? Like, they're like, oh, that's not a cult. She doesn't teach one thing. She's teaching all of these other. You know what I mean? Like, she's
she is the soul. When there's one person with all the knowledge and you don't have that knowledge, she'll teach other people how to help you because she can't do it all. But she's the sole person with knowledge. Right. And if you don't believe that, then you're out.
Yeah. And
if you want to be in the inner circle, part of the Teal Eye, then and then you got to get your tattoo that's just like hers and oh shit. The whole thing. So there's no ending to this. That's my story. I mean, there's so much room for debate.
It's a good, very PSA because she is very popular. You know, some of our listeners have probably heard her before. I'm actually surprised. I'll probably see it now all the time because we're talking about it and the phone is here and I looked her up.
And you just looked it up. That's why I was trying to be like on incognito and I'm like, shit, it's already on there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I already have so much other
I know.
true crime, weird crime.
I just don't want her face popping out.
I don't want to give her any more money, any more, you know, revenue from social media. But it's a very good PSA because if you are just scrolling and one of her videos pops up, you're like, oh, wow, I am going through that. That sounds amazing.
On her website, her social statistics says 2.3 million Facebook, 880,000 TikTok, 1.3 million Instagram, 35,000 Twitter, 1.8 million YouTube, and 8,000 LinkedIn.
Her TikTok describes herself as an international author and a motivational public speaker. It will.
Yeah, she's
so these are the categories that she preaches on TikTok: just emotions, relationships, parenting, shadow work, spirituality, and narcissism and codependency, and success and purpose. Those are the different categories. And the fact that she is a narcissist in herself is just mind-blowing. And I can't believe she gives parenting tips. Like, anyways, she's got these categories.
If you're in Romania, she'll be in Bucharest May 18th, and then in Dublin, Ireland, September 7th, in Prague, to be determined this year, in Paris, in Singapore, in Sydney, and in Melbourne, and in Dubai.
Let me take her part 1 of her relationship series. Women are manipulative. Here's why.
Yep.
Part 5, double standards are necessary. Part 7, don't be fooled by nice guys. Part 8, why women aren't attracted to nice guys. Part 9, why women are so needy. Part 10, a warning to emotionally unavailable men. Part 11, how to make a woman feel safe. 12 doesn't have a title, but 13 says set double standards in relationships consciously.
What?
Yeah. And then this one is how you express your boundaries could be the issue. But just ridiculous.
Miss me with that awful relationship advice with your 4 marriages.
What makes a good mother? How to heal your children.
She's done no work on herself with anybody other than Barbara Snow. And how can you how you're not growing? You just have a lot of yes men around you and telling you that you are giving the best advice. You know what I mean? Like, have you figured your stuff out? Did you figure your stuff out about why Blake left yet?
I mean, just the titles of these episodes alone could be very triggering for some. So please, if you do look at her TikTok and you go to the categories, just please be advised. Like,
she's very misogynistic. She's very misogynistic, isn't she? Well, that's my story. So sorry, it's a long one. Oy vey.
New thought leader, best-selling author. Positive world change catalyst, promoting healing and improving mental health and relationships. Wow. Well, that's all I can say about that. I don't know how I'm going to follow that up next week.
You always say that. But yeah.
But I really don't.
But I mean, literally, this is like my life for the last month.
Yeah.
This is this story. And I literally... It's so interesting to me because I was like, I told Jason 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'm just trying to put my thoughts about her together.
Yeah, people definitely need to be aware of who she is and what she's doing because her whole thing makes it very hard for real survivors and real victims to be taken seriously when you've got what she's got going on.
And, if you just looked up Teal Swan cult, it's all just Teal Swan stuff. It's not, there's not a whole lot of you got to really go search for it.
Yeah.
It is in the Wikipedia page. Some of these links are on the Wikipedia page, but I put on our episode notes, there will be links to all of this. And again, I will say, this we talked about suicide a lot and childhood sexual abuse, suicidal ideation, all very distressing topics. So if you or anyone, is struggling, there is help. You're not alone. You can call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week phone number, so you can call anytime. So please do reach out to us. We're here. You can, we're on mostly Facebook and Instagram, but you can also reach out to us via our website, and you can email us. You can leave us a voicemail. I mean, we're here.
Yeah, we've had people reach out to us on Messenger before. Like, one of us will see it pretty quickly.
So just do reach out. If you ever need anyone to listen, you're not alone. And if she does anything right, is that she's telling people, look at all the people in this room. They're all feeling the same way.
Yeah.
And there's lots of lonely people. So I've posted this several times on my personal Facebook page because it's Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and I know people don't know that I have that, and it's Awareness Month, and people don't realize that I have that because I'm very hyper and happy-go-lucky, and I mask the pain very, very well, and so people don't realize that I might be in severe pain day to day. And so my reminder is just to be kind, because you don't know what people are going through, and just always be kind. So, and that's it. You don't know what you're doing next week.
No, I have no idea, honestly.
That's all right.
I'm gonna assume it's a disappearance because they're my favorite. I'm on a cult kick.
You're on a disappearance kick.
This is what happens. I start researching a story that I really want to do, and then I find something crazy. I'm like, holy shit, this is so crazy. I got to do this one, and then it leads me to another crazy one. And so then I'm like, well, which one do I do now first? And so I mean, I have a couple that I've been reading. It's not that I don't know a story, right? It's just like I don't know which one I want to do, because by the time I pick one, I'm like, oh shit, it's Monday, 2 hours before the podcast. I need to make a decision now, and like, you know what I mean? Because like they're all so good, and when it comes to disappearances, I like bringing the awareness, because you don't know who might know something, and so anyways, that's why I enjoy it. So I have to narrow something down.
I know. Same girl, same. Except I learn just too much, and it takes me forever to put all my ideas together. So. Anyway, we will see you next week. But until then, remember, be kind to people. If you see someone struggling, reach out. And if you need help, you can reach out to us, of course, and the 988 helpline. Just don't think that you're alone.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week. Bye.